Would I buy this property? Let's see if this deal makes sense. I'm in Walnut, California, in the Bay Area. About to do another walkthrough here at another home that is a fixer-upper. It's actually listed on the market, so we're gonna do a quick walkthrough, and then I'm gonna run some numbers, and we'll see if the numbers are even gonna make sense. If this is a viable property, I can put an offer in and maybe start a new project. So check it out. First comes the walkthrough, then comes the analysis.
All right, so this is the exterior of the property. As we walk through, I will be updating the garage. I would want to update the light fixtures. I would also maybe add even some paneling here and maybe a new gate just to modernize it and update it. Overall, this porch area, probably keep it just as is, maybe clean it up, improve it a little bit. Front door would have to get replaced. As we walk in, you can see pretty dated property. Kitchen, totally outdated. Everything needs to get changed. Lighting fixtures, flooring, smooth out the walls, and then everything in the kitchen will have to be updated. Now, as we walk through here, you'll see that's the living room, and then right here's the closet with the furnace. That looks pretty good. And as we get to the master bedroom, you can see overall general theme here, pretty dated, pretty original. This is interesting because it does actually drop in two places here. Once in the shower there, it drops a little bit. And then over here, it drops down to this lower level with a fireplace, sink, and just an extra area where you can utilize, watch TV, put a couch in there. Pretty interesting. As you can see, this drops down, which is interesting. I think overall, once it's updated, modernized, it will look pretty good. And then the bathroom here, you've got two-sided sink there, and then the toilet. Everything will have to get updated. It's pretty original. Bedrooms all look pretty much the same, all outdated. You'll have to change the flooring, obviously, light fixtures, walls will have to get smooth, doors, door handles will all have to get replaced. As we walk outside, you'll see that it's pretty large. You've got some pretty large mature trees that give you some privacy. There is some freeway noise in the back, but overall, pretty decent property. The roof, as you can see, needs to get replaced. Whole roof needs to be done. And as we walk along the side, you can tell we probably need to do some paint, some fence work. And this AC unit, very old, has to be replaced. And overall, pretty decent sized yard, as you can tell. Just needs some TLC to get it back in shape, make the grass green again. And then on this side, we've got some fruit trees, as well as a shed on that corner, which homeowners definitely can utilize. Overall, pretty decent opportunity, pretty decent flip, pretty straightforward. Does have some Section 1 repairs and would need to get a re-roof. Okay, now that we've done the walkthrough, let's talk about our comparables. I've chosen 3 comparables for us to review. Let's go through those one by one, check them out, see how they compare, see why we come up with the ARV that we do. Okay, now to look at the comps. I've pulled 3 properties that are roughly in the same neighborhood within a quarter of a mile. This one that we're looking at specifically, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,003 square feet. This home did sell for $1.2 million. It had a price reduction of $100,000. I did notice that reduction was done less than 30 days. So it was listed January 7th for 1.3, January 27th, dropped by $100,000, and then it eventually sold on February 23rd. The home is in the same school district, and in Walnut Creek, there's 3 high schools. There's Ignacio Valley High School, Los Lomos, and Northgate. And in this area, this is the Northgate area, but the school aligns with the Ignacio Valley. I wouldn't say that it's a worse school, but it's just more desirable to be in the Northgate area for most buyers. Now, if we go ahead and look at the photos, you can see that this is a comp that I pulled because this is more of a rental grade comp. As you can see, it does need some updates and improvements. Doesn't mean that you can't move into it. Doesn't mean it's got a lot of issues. You need to do a full remodel or gut job, but I would say it is definitely dated. And it's the more dated comp out of the 3 that we're gonna be looking at. So let's jump into the next one. This one I would say is the medium grade comp in terms of condition. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,720 square feet. So I would say definitely smaller, right? Our property, our subject property is 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2188 square feet. However, as you can scroll down, it was listed for 1.29 in April 6th, sold on May 13th for 1.315, so slightly above the asking price. Also, same exact school districts. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the photos. As you can see, definitely nicer condition, ready to move in. Any home buyer that's looking to move in with their family, this is good to go. Definitely not flip grade. As you can see, the flooring is still, to me, in my opinion, dated. Not that it's dated by a lot, but it's still not a 2026 flip. This is definitely move-in ready, very nice. But that's how I would look at this and comp it in that way. You can even see the bathrooms look a little dated, right? Definitely still nice, not that like the rental grade we just saw prior. So this is where I would kind of put that in that medium range in terms of the comp. And then as you can see, the backyard is pretty decent. So let's jump into the next one. Now this property, it's a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, larger, it's 2499 square feet. It is located in the same neighborhood, same area. The backyard, as it states here in the notes, true oasis with pond, bocce ball court, massive flex home patio and gardening beds, etc. So definitely is gonna be a little bit nicer. Once we see the photos, you'll see that. It is definitely in the same school district. That's gonna be important when you're trying to compare Northgate real estate and Walnut Creek real estate in general. As you can see from the photos, definitely looks more of like a flip grade, right? 2026 remodel. The countertops I would say are definitely old. These are countertops that I put in on a property like 8 years ago. But definitely it's still nice. So overall, I would say more of a flip grade. It's sold for 1.45. Obviously, it is larger than ours. Ours that we're looking at is a 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 2188 square feet. So roughly about 250 square feet bigger, roughly maybe 300 square feet bigger. And overall, the property's nice. You know, great, beautiful backyard. Seems like the exterior's been painted very recently. It's got a fairly new HVAC from what it looks like, a nice shed. So overall, great property. I can see why it's sold for 1.45. Looks like it's got a solar as well. So where I see our property is roughly in between this property, which is 1.315, and right in between this one based off the square footage. So I would put us somewhere about 1.4 for a ARV. Would I buy this property? Let's break it down. After looking at the comps, I do feel we're at an ARV of 1.4 million. I see a budget of a rehab budget of about 150,000, and I think it could go more. But our hard money lending and closing costs are roughly going to be about 35,000. Our holding costs, which is the time frame that we're going to hold the property between rehabbing it, reselling it, I'm estimating 6 months. That's going to cost us $36,000 of interest fees. And then of course, we are looking at a resale cost of roughly around 85,000. 70,000 of that is strictly commissions, so buyer agent, listing agent commissions. So technically, it's actually about 35,000 less for myself because I am going to be listing agent on it. And then if you factor in our 10% profit rule, that's about $140,000, which brings us at a purchase price of roughly about $954,000. Now adding in that extra $35,000, I'm going to save by not having to list the property with another agent, and I can list it myself. We're roughly right around the asking price the agent has it listed at. So for us, this is definitely a deal. We can make this work. And now if we get countered, because we are going to expect to get multiple offers on this property, we get countered, we can still make a little bit of adjustments, go up a little bit on price, reduce our profit levels. So I definitely think that there's a deal here. The issue that I see with this property is that there are going to be buyers that are looking to move into it, remodel it, update it, make it their own, and be able to offer a lot more higher than I'm going to. And that's just the name of the game. So when we're buying these flips, it's just gotta be bad enough, I feel like, to scare off your regular home buyer you know, that thinks it's going to be too much for them to take on. And this is like kind of the in between. You know, I don't think it's too much to take on, but it can be. And I will tell you, remodeling a house is not for the faint of heart. It's very stressful. Takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of money. However, there will be people that will want to buy it, pay too much, and remodel, rehab it, make it their own. But for us as a business, we got to be profitable. So our price is where it's at, specifically based on the numbers that I provided. So at this point, we'll say it's a deal. Don't know if we're going to get it. Thanks for watching.